man, this is nice. I'm gonna enjoy doing this as I get older. All right, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Will Motivation back again with another video, and today we are talking about the top 3 worst financial moves I have made in my life. The top 3 worst. Then I'll do another video, the top 3 best financial moves I have ever made in my life. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Right now we are here in Florida in my favorite little studio. This is the outdoor studio. I'm a night owl. I don't know if some of you guys out there are night owls like me, but at night my brain gets active and I feel good and I feel like I'm totally awake. And this is like the best time for me to do videos, best time for me to work. So I just like to sometimes come out here, take a few minutes to talk to you guys and share my life experiences that have gotten me to the point where I am now, which is not the best. You know, I'm not like the most rich person in the world or even the most wealthy, or even maybe I'm not even wealthy according to some people. But I do like to share my experiences with some of the supercars I own, like this 992 Porsche 911 GT3. So I'll show you guys some clips of this car in action at the end of the video. But let's get into this top 3 worst financial moves I've ever made, and I want you guys to learn from these and take something from it, if you will, for all of those of you that care to learn something from your Uncle Will here on YouTube. All right, let's get right into it. So the number 1 worst move I made financially, some of you guys that have been through this can probably guess what I'm going to say. But for me, in my personal situation, was getting married and divorced without knowing what I was doing. So I got married pretty young. When I got married, I was 20, I think I was like 26 or 27. Did not know much about that aspect of life. I grew up with both my parents, so I didn't know what divorce really was all about, and I was naive, when I got married. So this is not a bashing video for anybody out there that is married, or it's not a bashing video on my ex-wife or anything like that. I'm not even going to get into that. But financially, you need to know what you're doing when you decide to get married. Because in my situation, when I got married, I didn't have a whole lot. I had a good job, and I didn't even have a house. I didn't even have my first house when I got married. My business, I did start my business, and I had my business making a little bit of money, but it wasn't, I still had a day job. I still had my 9 to 5. So in my particular case, I was married for about, technically I was married for about 9 years. Technically. And the thing is, when you get married, you know how when you get a driver's license, which is one of the most important things you do on a daily basis, is drive a car. So, for the safety of everybody, they make sure you have a license to know how to drive and know the law, right? So you got to get a license to get to be able to drive, right? I feel like they need to have the same thing for people when you get married, because in most states that I know about, you got to get a marriage license to get married, but they don't tell you what it means to have that license, that marriage license in the state. So I'm going to try to give you a quick crash course so that you don't make the same mistake I did and not know what you're doing when you get married. I'm not saying like it's a mistake to get married, because I feel like if you have kids and stuff like that, it's great to have a family unit and that kind of thing. But it is not great to get married and not know what the heck you're doing and what it means to get married. So here's the first number 1 thing. When you get married, it's a contract not between you and your wife. It is a contract between you, your wife, and the state where you get married or where you live, right? So it's a 3-way contract. So basically, if things don't work out during that marriage and you have to go before a judge, then guess what? It's not only what you want, not only what your wife wants or your ex-wife or whatever. It's not only what they want. So it's not just between you and them. It's also what the state wants, right? So the state, when you get married and get that license, that means the state is involved in your business affairs with your personal. It's almost like a business, but it ends up being your personal affairs. The state gets involved in that. And I really feel like I don't believe in that. After having gone through it, I feel like that is not the way we should operate in this country. And that's a whole nother video or something like that. But you need to understand, if you get married, it's a contract between you, your partner, and the state. All right. So what that means financially, because we're talking about the top 3 worst decisions I made financially, is if you don't come to an agreement with you and your partner, your wife or whatever, your husband and wife, whatever, if you don't come to an agreement, the state gets involved and they get to determine financially what happens to you and your partner, your spouse or whatever, right? They get to determine what happens with your finances. So if during the marriage you have a business or you start a new business, even if you did all of the work and your husband or wife didn't help you, then the state could determine that that business gets split in half and dissolved. They could take the whole business down. There's so many different financial ramifications if that marriage doesn't work out and you get a divorce and you have to go before a judge, or even if you have to go and do mediation, or what do they call it, to try to come up with an agreement or a settlement. The judge will kind of like try to make you negotiate. So you have lawyers involved, and it's just like a really bad financial situation to be in. That's why a lot of people get prenuptial agreements. I did not have one. So if you're gonna get married, you really should have one. You should agree as to what is going to happen if things don't work out. You guys should agree to that before. And if you can't, then you probably shouldn't be getting married, because that should be a sign. Like if you ask your significant other, like your fiance, to have a prenuptial agreement and they don't want to do it, you should be suspicious. I know I'm probably going to be getting like some crazy comments on that. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments, or your opinion on it. But my opinion is, if somebody wouldn't want to do a prenuptial like an agreement to get married, of what happens in all these different scenarios, if they wouldn't want to agree on that, what does that tell you? That they would rather put it in the hands of the state and let the state determine your future financially. And I don't believe in that. Like that was like I said, one of the worst decision or moves. I'm not gonna say decision. One of the worst financial moves I made was getting married, not knowing what I was doing, not understanding what happens in a divorce, and how serious that 50-50 half thing is. Because a lot of the states, like in the state where I got married in Ohio, it's basically a 50-50 state. So if you can't agree, by default, the judge is going to try to split everything in half. So if you have a business or you have real estate that was acquired during the marriage, then they're going to try to split that stuff in half. And sometimes you might have to sell real estate. You might have to sell a business. You might have to close a business. All kind of craziness. You might have to come up with a value for the business and give your partner. If you keep the business, you got to give them the money of what the value of the company is, half of that. Like there's a lot of crazy, serious things financially when you get married that you need to know and understand that before you get married. So like when you get that marriage license, it really should be like you should have to take a test, you know what I'm saying, to understand what you're getting yourself into and what you're signing off on when you get married. So if you want to learn anything from Uncle Will in this video, when you get married, if and when you get married, I'm not even going to tell you to get a prenuptial agreement. I would if I was you, but I'm not going to tell you to do that. I'm just going to say, make sure you understand completely what you're getting yourself into, because that 50-50 stuff is real. And in some cases, it's worse. Like if you have kids, even if you don't have kids, like in some states, like in Florida, I'm in Florida right now. Florida, I don't know if they got rid of it yet. I think I saw something where they might have got rid of it. But up until recently, like in the last few years, at least in the last few years, alimony, permanent alimony is a real thing. So let's say you got married to somebody in Florida. You done found your like nice little spicy Latina, and you got married in Florida and you didn't get a prenuptial agreement, and then you get a divorce 5 years later, and you hit it big, and your business is blowing up, and you're making a lot of money before you get that divorce. You could go to court, and if y'all don't agree on something, then the Florida judge and Florida courts could give you permanent for life alimony if they want to. That is a real freaking thing. I didn't believe it when I heard it. I didn't believe it. Like I was like, that can't be real. But yes, that's real. So every state is different though. That's the other thing. Like every state is different. Like that's why a lot of people get married in Vegas and stuff. So you gotta know what the hell you're doing. You need like lawyers and stuff involved when you get married. The lawyer needs to sit down with you for an hour or 2 hours and go down all the things you need to understand, the financial ramifications of getting married. So that's number one in my top 3 worst moves is not knowing what I was doing when I got married. Number 2 in my top 3 worst financial moves I've ever made, and that number 2 was selling real estate that I own too soon or too quickly. Most of the time in the past, so for some of you guys that don't know who I am and what I do, like I said, my name is Will Motivation. I share my experiences on this channel. Most of the people that come to this channel because I own some supercars. Like I have a Ferrari SF90, I have a Lamborghini Huracan Technica, I have a Z06 2026, I have the GT3, right? So I have these supercars, and I've had all kind of stuff. I just had a Lamborghini Revuelto. So a lot of people come to my channel for that, right? But a lot of people don't realize I'm a real estate investor. I do talk about it on this channel a lot, and I try to show people how to get the cars, right? So one of the things I've done over the years is I've invested in real estate. Now, one of the worst mistakes I ever made, especially looking back on it, was selling real estate too soon. So I had a strategy. My strategy was buy real estate, buy as much as I could when the prices were really good, is what I did. I bought probably over 50 houses, maybe 60 houses I bought. But I sold all of them except for about 22 of them, or 22 of them right now, right? Now, all of the ones that I sold, there's some that I should have sold, and there's some that I should have kept. And if you want to learn from me, if you get into the real estate game, you start buying real estate. If you have a good piece of real estate, the kind of real estate that is going to appreciate, you should hold it as long as you can. Because there's a variety of ways to pull money out of it, like pull equity out of it if you need to hold it and let it appreciate, which is what I should have done. But I was selling the houses so that I could pay off the mortgages on the houses that I kept. So I could be pretty much debt free with all of my real estate and just get rental income to live off of, right? So that's what I did. I only have about 3 mortgages at this point on all of those 20-some properties because I flipped and sold all of the rest of them. But I should have kept the best properties and I should have sold the weakest properties. So for me, here's the thing to learn from me and my mistake, right, with this move. There's some houses you want to keep and there's some you want to sell. The ones you want to keep are the ones that will appreciate like in an unlimited fashion or the most, based on their location, based on how big they are, how many bedrooms they have, if they have a basement or they don't, if they have a attached garage or a garage or not. So if they have all of these great features that help a house appreciate over time. And the number one things are the size of the house, like a minimum 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. Like if it's got 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, and it's got like over 1,800 square feet, I should have kept all of those houses. Except for some that I have that were meant to be flipped. But I had some as rentals and some smaller flips. I should have kept all of those houses because they would continue to appreciate without a cap. They're not condos, they're not attached. They all had garages, most of them had basements. They all were over 1,800 square feet. I should have kept them. I had at least 25 to 30 of those. I should have kept those because that would have been millions of dollars in towards my net worth if I had kept those. At least $2 or $3 million worth of additional equity or additional dollars to my net worth, right? If I had kept them. The ones I should have sold are all of the small ones that have a cap on their appreciation because, that's not as much what people are looking for. It's like your 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, ranch on a slab foundation. So there's not a whole lot of space for storage and stuff like that. Or it's an attached condo that's got 2 bedrooms and a bathroom and it's small and you get renters in the thing all day, but it can't get maximum rent value and it's going to have a cap on how high it goes in value. Those are the ones I should have sold. Like I got three or 4 of those right now. I should have kept 3 or 4 of my big 3-4 bedroom houses. Should have kept those and I should have sold these little small ones. And that's a big financial mistake or a bad move I made financially that could have been worth millions of dollars towards my net worth. So learn from my mistake. That's the number 2 thing on my top 3. And number 3 worst mistake I have made financially. Let me think about this one. Okay, so the third biggest bad financial move I think I've made, and this is the most recent one, is I have never, I grew up pretty much poor, so I never was really I never had a whole lot of money to manage, right? So once I did start making really good money, I focused more on my business and the health of my business based on my clients being happy, my clients renewing and continuing to do business with me, and I focused less on the details of numbers. And I feel like if I had put more attention to the details of numbers, I could have saved more money than I even actually have right now. I could have saved more money. I could have saved a whole lot more money probably on taxes. But these are things that I had to learn on my own, essentially. And so now I have hindsight that's 2020. And the learning from it is when you start making really good money, or just more money than you've made in the past, number one, don't increase your living expenses, until you've got like some investments that are cash flowing for you and making good returns for you on an ongoing basis, right? Then when you have that set up, then you can start splurging on different things. But in my opinion, this is just my opinion and my strategies, right? But the other thing though is you don't want your expenses to go up, and then you want to manage how much you outlay in taxes, how much you outlay if you got employees and expenses, like with people expenses, because it might not be employees, it might be people around you that borrow money from you or ask you for money, and you help them and you give to them, and that stuff adds up, especially over years, right? So you got to manage that stuff and know what it looks like and what's coming out of your pocket every month or every year. So managing these details so that you don't turn around and say, wow, I could have saved way more money than I actually saved if I was a little bit more on top of managing expenses, right? So that's the third thing. And I know that third thing is a little bit vague, but essentially I'll boil it down to when you make more money, don't spend it. And when you do, don't spend it, unless you have to. But then when you do spend it, be very granular on where you're spending it and how you're spending it, whether or not that money's going to come back, like as an investment or as let's say you buy a nice car, like, let's say, I tell my friends all the time, like I'm talking to some of my friends that have money to buy nice cars and stuff, but they're sitting on the fence, and I'm like, okay, well, look at it like this. If you buy that Porsche 911 and it costs you 150 grand, you're sitting there thinking like it's a Honda Accord where you spend 50,000 or 40,000 on a Honda Accord and you run it into the ground and you never get any money for the car ever again, because that's what you've done in the past. So that 50,000 is gone out the window. But when you buy like a 911 Porsche or a Ferrari or a Lambo, the cost of the car is the difference between when you buy and sell it. Normally, you're not going to buy a car like that and run it into the ground until it has zero value, like you would like a used $20,000 Honda or whatever, right? You're not going to be using it to commute. You're going to buy that car, you're going to enjoy it, you're going to take it to car shows, you're going to do some road trips, you're going to enjoy it, you're going to put 10 to 15,000 miles on it max, and then you're going to sell it. So you got to see what the value, like how much that ownership experience is going to cost you. And that's the true cost. So it could be 10,000, it could be 15,000. That's what we're talking about, right? So you got to watch those expenses and know what the actual, money that's going to be gone forever. But like if it was a 150K car, you still might get 140K back when you sell it. You might get 130K, you might get 160K in some cases, right? But with other things like a vacation, giving money to your friends, giving money to your girlfriends, paying employees that you don't really need, getting subscriptions to services that you may or may not need on a given month, and that stuff starts adding up, and that could be a lot of money that if you're really careful that you could save. Now on that third thing, that's probably the weakest of the three moves that I feel like I've made, because I've saved money over the years, I invested money over the years. I feel like I did a relatively good job with that, but I could have done better. So that's the one thing. And there's ways, I'm still learning, so I don't know everything, but you can learn about how to save money on your taxes. You can hire better accountants and, tax strategists. You can spend time every month or every week going over your expenses and saying, where can I cut expenses? Where am I wasting money? And that's the kind of stuff I just never do. Like, I hate dealing with details. Like, some people trip when I say I don't know how much money I spent on certain stuff. Like, I don't know how much money I invested in total in real estate. I've been investing in real estate since 2010. I don't know how much money I spent. I know ballpark, it's in the millions of dollars I spent on real estate, but I don't know exactly how much it is, because I don't spend money. I don't spend time like analyzing, okay, how much exactly I have, but I could go in 5 seconds and I could pull up a report that would show me exactly what it was. I have that data. So it's not the kind of thing I memorize, because I'm not looking at it on an ongoing basis. But what I should be looking at is not necessarily how much I spend on the asset, but how much I spend on the stuff that's not an asset, like services that I'm paying for, and water bills and electric bills, stuff like that I could actually cut down on. The number I spent on the asset, if it was a good deal when I bought it, that's the last time I really need to think about it. So people that don't understand that concept, you do you, I do me. But I'm trying to show you guys some of the how to avoid some of the mistakes I feel like I made, or some of the moves that I made that could have been better. So those are my top 3. In the next video, I'll do the top 3 best moves I feel like I've made to this point. And I'm still trying to make more and better moves. So stay tuned for that video. And for the rest of this video, enjoy a little bit of GT3 content. So you're thinking about joining my channel, or maybe if you haven't thought about joining my channel, maybe you should, because channel members on my channel get access to exclusive content with exclusive cars like this here Lamborghini Revuelto, like this here Ferrari F8, like this here behind me Lamborghini Huracan Technica, or even the Porsche almost said a new car that I have on the channel that you guys don't know about. But this Porsche 911 Carrera T, the RS3. All of the videos that I upload on this channel, my channel members get to see those videos first as soon as I push them out, and then they're released on a schedule. I already have about 10 videos lined up that only my channel members have access to. If you're considering joining my channel, now's a good time. I definitely will shout you guys out. I'll answer your questions in my live stream with priority. So hey, join my channel subscription through YouTube and get access to exclusive content just for you, and early access to content that I release on the channel, sometimes as early as 2 or 3 weeks in advance. So yeah, if you want the loose scoop, I got 2 cars that I haven't even released on the channel yet. So stay tuned, hit that join button. Hey, and join the exclusive section of our membership on the channel here on YouTube. Peace. Here with another video on how to turn $7,000 into over $100,000 in one single real estate investment transaction. You'll learn not only how to do flips, but also you'll learn the benefits of buying and holding and owning real estate for the long haul as rental property. So what do you do when you're interested in investing or spending money on something, or spending time, energy, and money on something? You study. You know what? I can buy these houses for cheap prices and then rent them out, make a profit on them, and then it'll just be another business. So if you don't already own a home or own a house, you should buy a house that is a good house that will turn into a good investment. Yo, what's up? It's your boy Will Motivation, and today we're talking about my advice on the #1 way for you to get started investing in real estate.
It's the one and only Floyd Money Mayweather. I'm here to tell you guys to go to Will Motivation. The exotic cars is crazy. I've been watching this show for a little while now and it's growing. But we need everybody else to subscribe to Will Motivation and support Will. I'm supporting them. You do the same.
Welcome to Will Motivation. Will Motivation, leave out all the hating. This is Motivation Nation, where we have fun and make moves, so stop waiting.